Mr. Investor Lot, welcome back to the channel, baby. And for those that held their nerve, good on you. Our beloved bionano genomics is roaring. It's up 15.8%, as you can see here. We're now at $7 again. And during the valley of despair, we went all the way down into the fives. I think we were like $5, even lower than $5.27 at one point. So now I've got some juicy news for you today. Remember, we saw a lot of institutions buying in or adding it to their market index. That was a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of Fidelity adding some shares. Well, there's just been declared some more institutional investment. So today I'm going to be talking to you about that. I'm also going to show you what's been going on in the Twitter space. Please also remember, none of this is financial advice. It's for entertainment only. And please support my channel if you can by clicking the join button above my head. It's only 99 cents a month, or feel free to join my Patreon in the description box below. Well, first things first, you can see here we're now up over 17%. There's been no massive news that's come out. You know, we were undervalued at this point of time when it came all the way down to $5.27, and now it's gone roaring. I don't know what's been going on today, if the retail sentiment is back, but I think there's been some big institutional buying, and I think this will actually reach into probably above 20% today. So now this was just released today. This is the 13F form from the 26th of April. Archford Capital Strategies LLC have purchased more shares and increased their share ownership up 143%. They now own over 170,300 shares. I think across the next few quarters, you're going to see a lot more institutions pouring in. It takes their time for them to do their due diligence and also for it to appear here. There will be some institutions that have already invested, it just hasn't popped up yet. Now let's talk about Joseph Butler, the bionano genomics employee, and ARK Invest Simon Barnett. So Eric Butler was on Twitter today talking about this Genome Web article. He also quoted Eric Homelin and Bryn Levy. Bryn Levy actually presented using the Sapphire, I think it was during ACMG or AACR, and Levy was talking about it being concordant with multiple gold standard technologies. So that's what they predicted was going to happen. That not only did that happen, but they actually found and identified more clinically relevant structural variants or copy number variants in 11% of cases that were missed by routine methods. So this was with regards to leukemia. Optical genome mapping showed 100% concordance. You can see here it was for AML. Oops, this is the wrong AML. Yep, this is the definition here. It's acute myeloid leukemia. Joe Butler also spoke and showed a quote from Alexander Hoyshin. This is a researcher from Radboud University Medical Center in the Netherlands, who was leading one of the European studies of Sapphire for cytogenetics, and that guy said within an email, this really becomes a very efficient alternative to standard cytogenetic assays. So what's interesting to see is this cytopia, this idea of cytopia and replacing what are the current standards. This means that bionano genomics is uniquely positioned to actually replace some of the cytogenetic methods and is already gold standard. So if we take a look at the whole global cytogenetics market, according to Allied Market Research, this is going to face a compounded annual growth rate of 9.5% from 2018 to 2025. And when we get to 2025, they're estimating that it's going to be worth $3.2 billion. They also believe there's going to be a large growth rate in Asia, which is probably why we have a team in China working on sales. So Li Yu is the commercial head of China, you can see here. And if I move myself over, bionano genomics. They started working as a general manager to lead a multifunctional team to develop business in China. This was back in 2021, February, so it's just recently, it's been 3 months. So imagine globally, this becomes a very efficient alternative to standard cytogenetic assays. It becomes cheaper, faster, and you can find more. As you can see here, followed up, hopefully optical genome mapping has the potential to identify novel findings that may be included in future revisions to the risk stratification. Levy. And then Joe Butler tagged someone called Paul Farrow, your area of expertise. This guy is a public health doctor and a genetic epidemiologist. And if we go deeper into it, you can see he's a professor at the University of Cambridge. So his actual title is the Professor of Cancer Epidemiology. And this is very interesting here. Take a look at this. Having completed his doctoral studies in 1999, he won a Cancer Research UK Senior Clinical Research Fellowship. So I think the reason why Joe Butler is actually targeting this man and has tagged him, on completion of this fellowship in 2009, he was appointed Reader in Cancer Epidemiology and then promoted to Personal Chair in 2012. So according to Cambridge, their website, you can see here that Professor Paul Farrow, the major themes of his research program included the genetic susceptibility to ovarian cancer, SEARCH, an ongoing study of genetic susceptibility to the common cancers. So what is SEARCH? So it looks like SEARCH at the University of Cambridge is a ongoing cancer study. It's been going from 1996, initially starting with ABC Anglian breast cancer study. Then in 1999, they looked at ovarian cancer, then colorectal cancer and uterine cancers. The whole project was then renamed to SEARCH in 2002, and then they started to look at prostate cancers, melanoma. So then if you read down, you can see that they were actually funded by Cancer Research UK, and they are also investigating the link between infection with C19 and cancer. Well, they're investigating the relationship. They also plan to share their search data with Public Health England's C19 test data. So bionano genomics, if we get in with this guy, Professor Paul, and they're currently working on that search study, could we be used for C19 and cancer? You can see here, this information will help us understand the epidemiology of C19 in cancer survivors and may lead to better mitigation of the effects of the disease. Very interesting, Joey. Well done. And I hope we managed to close this sale, baby. And my bad, I think I've been saying his name wrong. It's Faroa. We don't play, baby. We can see all his connections here. This is all within the public domain. You can find this on LinkedIn. And let's see what he's about. This guy has been at University of Cambridge for over 11 years and 7 months. And according to recommendations from colleagues Claire Rice, Paul is a dedicated senior researcher interested in the architecture of genetic susceptibility to common cancers, including breast, ovarian, and colorectal, and in understanding how germline genetic variation influences disease heterogeneity and heterogeneity in the clinical outcomes of cancer. I have worked with him on all aspects of grant funding, and it was always a pleasure to work with him. So this guy has been looking at cancer studies utilizing different instruments. We can see here they use a custom Illumina iSelect genotyping array. So if we're able to make Paul Faroa use Sapphire system, and if he finds something, discovers something, or even just sees that it's better at replacing all the traditional methods that he currently has, or if he has a major breakthrough in cancer epidemiology, we may be seeing more institutions and cytogenetic labs buy up the Sapphire system. And let's take a look at this conversation on Twitter as well with Simon Barnett. So they struck up a conversation on DNA Day on the 25th of April. People were talking about it, they were asking some questions, bouncing it around, and PacBio and Nanopore came up, and naturally this guy came to PacBio's rescue. Then the easy Moneyball Dwyer came into the place. When you're talking about the entire length based on recent publications, isn't it common knowledge that optical mapping via bionano genomics is best in class when it comes to structural variation detection? Forgive me if I'm mistaken, thanks. Salmon said no, he doesn't believe so. He was talking about read length is somewhat of a red herring in his opinion. The more relevant statistics is contiguity N50 when it comes to assembling large sections of the genome in a gapless fashion. Contiguity is influenced by many things, including read length. But he did say, indeed, optical genome mapping analyzes extremely large molecules, consistently longer than any sequencing platform, but at the sacrifice of resolution. Structural variation begins at 50 base pair changes and goes up to the megabase rearrangements, which is where optical genome mapping has a durable advantage technically, in my opinion. Joe Butler said, hey Simon, just to point out that we only see structural variations bigger than 500 base pairs. Also, our N50 is on average around 400 kilobases. I like this here. Dwyer was asking the right questions as well. He basically said, brilliant thinking ahead. Is there room for improvement in these numbers, such as improved resolution through software updates or switchable hardware? I know we boosted throughput via update. There is always room for improvement. Joe Butler. So guys, that was a quick update today. Let's see if the bull run is still bulling along. It's taking a little dippy, but we're still up 16% as of this video. Thank you to everybody that loves and supports this channel. Remember, none of this is financial advice, it's for entertainment only. I just want to know what your thoughts and feelings are towards bionano genomics at the moment. I actually went to get a part-time job, so I'm grinding as hard as I can so I can buy more shares in bionano genomics. My average is floating around about $10.50, $10, that kind of range. And when it was in the $5 range, I did buy a few, and in the $6 range. I also told you guys that I was going to buy Nano Dimension, so I was averaging down with that as well when I got cash. I bought at $7.70. I wasn't expecting for it to dip even lower. So when it did get to that $6.99, I wasn't able to scoop up anymore because I ran out of cash. So these two companies, I believe long term have so much growth potential, and that's the reason why I keep making videos on these two companies. And remember, I can't tell you to buy, sell, or hold a stock. I can just make content that is what my thoughts and feelings are for entertainment purposes only. But I do believe that one day bionano genomics will be $100 a share, similarly as well with Nano Dimension. And I believe this will happen in the next 5 to 8 years. So if BNGO drops down tomorrow to the $5 range, $6 range, I'm going to just keep scooping up shares whenever I get some money. Some of you guys have asked me as well about when will we reach the 1569, the all-time high. I don't know when we'll reach this, but when we do, I don't think this will be an all-time high for very long, especially if we start to fulfill, you know, all of these orders, start to make some sales. And we already got institutional ownership coming in now. So as you can see here, we're now 18% up. I think we're going to finish the day above 20% up. And one thing I'm looking forward to is there's some other events that are coming up in in the future. We've got some with plants and genomes and agriculture, but I'm also really excited and waiting for that quarter result. You know, I want to see what the next quarter update is. How many sales did we make? How many consumable sales did we also make? And we're at $7.30, baby. All right, guys, I'm going to be over and out. Thank you so much for watching. If you're able to support my channel, please click the join button above my head, or you can join the Patreon. But if you're unable to, just you hitting like and clicking subscribe on this video means the world to me. Thank you so much for watching. Mr. Invest a Lot, over and out, baby.